Today was the first press conference for Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And if you assumed she was a pretty white lady with a noticeable cross necklace, you were right. And of course she was Trump's press secretary during the campaign, but that was all about trashing Joe Biden. Now she's in an elevated position representing the White House, and she's here to talk about what the administration is going to do moving forward.
You won't believe what just happened. The View's Joy Behar has ignited a firestorm, and this time, there's no coming back. It all started with a single comment, a statement so shocking that it left audiences stunned and social media in absolute chaos. Behar, known for her outspoken views, crossed a line that no one saw coming, and the backlash has been nothing short of explosive. But what did she say? And why is this moment more than just another celebrity controversy? Stick around, because things are about to get intense. During a recent episode of The View, Behar took a jab at Donald Trump's newly appointed press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. But this wasn't just any critique. It was an outright attack on Leavitt's qualifications, reducing her position to nothing more than her appearance. I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10, Behar remarked, sending shockwaves through the audience. Instantly, critics from all sides of the political spectrum erupted in outrage. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about politics. It's about hypocrisy, double standards, and a moment that has left even The View's biggest supporters questioning everything. How can someone who champions women's rights diminish a highly qualified professional to just her looks? Social media exploded, with users calling out the glaring contradiction. One post summed it up perfectly. Joy Behar accuses Karoline Leavitt of being hired for her looks. Isn't that the exact kind of sexism The View claims to fight against? The irony was impossible to ignore. But just when it seemed like the backlash was at its peak, Karoline Leavitt stepped forward and did something no one expected. She fought back. Leavitt didn't just respond. She dismantled Behar's argument with precision and confidence. With unwavering poise, she turned the tables, exposing The View's hypocrisy for all to see. She made it clear, women in politics, regardless of ideology, deserve respect. The moment was powerful, and as she spoke, the energy in the room shifted. Behar, once so bold, now sat silent, realizing the gravity of her words. But this was just the beginning, because when Whoopi Goldberg tried to intervene, things got even more heated. Goldberg, attempting to regain control, shifted the conversation in an attempt to downplay the situation. But Leavitt wasn't about to let the narrative be manipulated. No, please, she interrupted firmly. Let's stay on topic. And in that instant, it became clear. This wasn't just about one comment. It was about a bigger issue. How media figures use their platforms to twist discussions, vilify opponents, and push their own agendas while claiming to fight for equality. But wait. There's more. As Leavitt pressed forward, she brought attention to a shocking reality. The media's rhetoric has consequences. She didn't just call out The View for its hypocrisy. She exposed how the constant vilification of Trump and conservatives has led to real-world dangers, even fueling attempts on Trump's life. And suddenly, the conversation wasn't about Behar's comment anymore. It was about the bigger picture. At this point, the tension in the studio was palpable. Even Whoopi Goldberg, usually quick to steer the discussion, seemed momentarily at a loss. Behar, clearly uncomfortable, attempted to laugh off the controversy. But the damage had been done. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more dramatic, Leavitt dropped one final bombshell that left everyone speechless. David's refusal to let Whoopi steer the conversation elsewhere was nothing short of remarkable. He stood his ground, refusing to let distractions overshadow the real issue at hand. Goldberg's attempt to silence him only strengthened his argument, making it one of the most talked-about moments in recent political debates. Social media lit up with praise, hailing it as a defining stand against media bias. But Leavitt wasn't done exposing The View's hypocrisy. She took it a step further. She didn't just defend herself, she laid bare the double standards that have long plagued the show. One of the most striking moments came when she pointed out how The View claims to champion feminism until a conservative woman enters the picture. They love to talk about empowering women, she declared, but the moment a woman challenges their politics, they tear her down. It was a direct, undeniable blow. The audience was left stunned, forced to question whether The View truly supports women or just those who align with their ideology. This wasn't just a passing remark, it was an indictment of the show's history of dismissing conservative voices like Kayleigh McEnany and Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And then, Whoopi Goldberg's fiery rant about wokeness took the conversation in an entirely new direction. Goldberg, visibly shaken, attempted to redirect the discussion, but her emotions got the better of her. She referenced an old comment from Karoline Leavitt, "There will be no wokeness here," and launched into an impassioned monologue about how wokeness drives progress. But instead of offering a reasoned argument, she leaned into condescension, speaking to Leavitt as if she were clueless about history and social justice. The irony was painful. By doing this, Goldberg unintentionally illustrated why so many criticize wokeness for being divisive rather than unifying. But this wasn't just a momentary outburst. The damage was already spreading far beyond the studio walls. The backlash against The View intensified, but this time, it wasn't just a political skirmish. The show found itself facing a level of public scrutiny and humiliation like never before. Rather than discrediting Karoline Leavitt, they had managed to discredit themselves. Clips of Joy Behar's dismissive comment and Leavitt's poised response spread across social media at lightning speed. Viewers from both sides of the aisle called out, "The View's hypocrisy." Even those who typically opposed Leavitt's politics admitted Behar's remark was inappropriate, and that Leavitt had handled the situation with impressive composure. And then, the controversy exploded into mainstream news. Several major media outlets picked up the story, running headlines that questioned The View's credibility and growing disconnect with audiences. Behind the scenes at ABC, the situation was reportedly far more chaotic. Insiders revealed that network executives had been blindsided by the intense backlash. Some sources even suggested that Behar could be on thin ice. While controversy has always been part of The View's brand, there's a difference between sparking debate and driving viewers away. This time, they may have crossed a line they can't step back from. But this incident speaks to something much bigger than one on-air controversy. It highlights a growing shift in media consumption and the public's demand for accountability. What made this controversy so significant was the unexpected bipartisan support Karoline Leavitt received. Social media was flooded with comments from people who didn't necessarily agree with her politics, but respected how she conducted herself in the face of hostility. Many pointed out that Behar's remarks weren't just offensive to Leavitt, they were an insult to all women who have worked hard to earn their success. The outrage was not confined to one political side, it was a collective call for fairness. Even liberal commentators took issue with Behar's words, with one writing, "You don't have to agree with Karoline Leavitt to recognize that reducing her accomplishments to her looks is disgusting." And this wasn't just a momentary win for Leavitt, it was a wake-up call for viewers growing frustrated with media double standards. As support for Leavitt surged, ABC executives were reportedly scrambling behind the scenes. According to insiders, the backlash caught them completely off guard, and their patience with Behar's repeated controversies was wearing thin. One source suggested that the network was beginning to seriously question whether keeping Behar on the show was worth the constant PR nightmares. While controversy has always been part of The View's formula, there's a fine line between generating discussion and alienating audiences, and this time they may have pushed too far. Ratings have already been slipping, and incidents like this only add to the decline. Advertisers are starting to take notice, with some reportedly growing uneasy about whether The View remains a viable platform for their brands. One insider revealed that ABC executives are tired of cleaning up controversies and are considering a major shakeup. Could this mean that Joy Behar's time on The View is coming to an end? But this isn't just about one host. It's about a larger, systemic issue. This controversy underscores the recurring pattern of how conservative women are treated in mainstream media. From Kayleigh McEnany to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, we've seen time and time again how women with right-leaning views are dismissed, ridiculed, or outright ignored. The View claims to be a platform for women's empowerment, but their selective support tells a different story. Instead of engaging in substantive debates, they resort to personal attacks and condescending rhetoric. One thing is certain: Karoline Leavitt came out of this controversy stronger than ever, while The View may never fully recover. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.